Okay, hi, my name is David Manock, and Matt Kimmel's asked me to share with you about co-regulation, which is a key foundational understanding that helps us understand how to help people and how to enhance relationship. In the 1990s, we began to scan the human brain. You can see on the side, on the slide, DM stands for my initial, David Manock. In the 1990s, when we began to scan the human brain, we went from observational science, which was observational psychology, which was really good, to empirical psychology. That's a whole different ballgame. In my research opinion, our society is about 15 years too late, and our mental health workers, in my opinion, since I have supervised over 50 interns, so I have some sense, are about 10 years behind because the decade of the brain shifted us from one-person psychology to two-person psychology. In one-person psychology, we taught people about self-identity, self-agency, self-worth, self-esteem, self-efficacy, self-actualization, self-fulfillment, self-relief, and self-history. All the self. We have an isolated, independent person and mind and the brain. Brain scan says no, that is a myth. All this is not true. Empirical psychology based on brain science says we are actually wired for relationship. Two-person psychology, so self-other identity. Your identity is found in relationship. Self-other agency. Self-other worth, your sense of worth and identity comes from the relationship. Self-other esteem, your sense of, do I have value, worth, and so forth, comes from the relationship, not within the person. Self-other efficacy, self-other actualization, self-other fulfillment, self-other relief, and self-other history. Two-person psychology. Now, critical. Bonnie Babnock up in Portland, who is a stunning, wonderful psychotherapist with a PhD background, she has recognized that there is no such thing as the myth. There is no such thing as self-regulation. What she's meaning is that when you see a person who's able to face their anxiety, fear, stress, conflict, whatever, and positively or in a secure way hold that, begin to process that, that appears to be self-regulatory function. But she points out from neuroscience and neurobiology and brain scan that we don't have a DNA or we don't have self-regulatory neuroemotional circuits. What we do have are a neuroemotional circuitry that are there structurally and that are produced relationally through early childhood experiences between mother and child. Okay, so self-regulation, baby has no neural circuits that allows to calm itself. Baby has no neural circuits but the baby has neural circuits for co-regulation, is responsive to the mother. So that means if the baby's afraid, mom picks that up and comforts, rocks the child, talks to the child, takes hands, walk, all the things mothers intuitively do. The fear or whatever the baby's inwardly experiencing is regulated, co-regulation. All right, so Babnock, says left and right brain function. The right side basically is the relational, emotional side. The left side is more the intellectual side. Now, when a person goes into analysis, without realizing, they split the relationship. So you can talk to a brilliant mathematician, a scientist, a exquisitely intellectual attorney, or even I went recently to see my orthopedic doctor, and he was a brain. And he took 20 minutes to describe scientifically the knee that he had x-rayed. I became aware during that 20-minute interaction, I was in a classroom, and I, as a patient person, seemed to disappear for him. he was left brain dominant. Okay, so that means if you want to co-regulate in relationship, you have to pay attention to three things. One, you have to be present. Presence requires two questions. If you're alone in a room, your brain is scanning the room as you are working on a computer. The moment a person walks in, your whole body as well as your brain is scanning the room and picks up the presence of the person. And then you turn around, and if there's to be co-regulatory interaction or relationship, there has to be three yeses that internally you would experience. Your system is asking, are you in the room? Yes, there she is. Your wife, your spouse, there he is, or your friend. Then the second question to answer, are they present? And I'm describing neuroemotional circuitries that are operative consciously below your level of awareness. She or he's in the room. Are they open? And if you can say yes, they're in the room, she's emotionally open, then you've experienced that person as being present. Second one, you have to ask, are they not only physically here, emotionally open, are they attuning? Do they seem to be open-hearted to me? Are they tracking with the conversation at hand? And are they moving towards you? It's very simple. If I'm in my study, typing away, looking at complex research things, which takes a lot of concentration, my wife sees me in a study, my study door is open, she walks past the hall, then she walks back, sticks her head into the room, and she says to me, David, what are you doing? I'm on my computer internally, I'm thinking, I don't want to be disturbed, this is such complex stuff, I can barely understand this, but I know that when she says, what are you doing? She's not asking a functional question, it's a bid to connect. And if I'm going to have co-regulatory experience with her, I have to put my computer down, I swing my chair, I look at her, I'm signaling to her, I'm here and I'm open to you. And I say, hey, Brent, I'm looking at the resonance factor in PTSD that gets short-circuited. Well, I don't even understand what I'm talking about. I'm trying to figure it out. She takes that as, she can come into the room and look at my computer screen. So she walks in and she says, let me see. And she looks at it and she doesn't have my background then, but she's wonderfully an Italian lady, which means in my cultural understanding, Italian people are very, very verbally enhanced. And she starts describing her thoughts. And internally, I'm thinking, I don't know what I'm trying to figure out. I don't think she does. But my relational side, I'm co-regulating. I've made room. I'm open to her. And I engage with her, track with her all the time thinking, she doesn't really understand what's going on. I don't even understand. And I'm attuning to her. She's going da 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 da. I'm going da da da. Presence, attuning. Okay. Then the last thing co-regulation requires called resonance. That is the heart, the center of human relationship does not have any IQ. Your head does. The heart never asks, is this right or wrong, good or bad, true or false? It asks, I'm in pain. Do you experience my pain? I'm happy. Do you experience my happiness? And since I am also trained in theology, graduate school, I remember the sacred text that says Jesus said, weep with those who weep and rejoice with those who rejoice. Stunning neuro-emotional, relational truth, right to the point. And if someone is sad, you have to tune and track with what they're saying, communicating sad, and then you have to pick up the energy of sadness, and you have to resonate by transferring energy. And so my wife says, using my example, she coming into and say, "Oh, this looks interesting." And I instantly say, "Yeah, isn't it interesting?" That "yeah, is interesting" is resonance. And she feels co-regulated, and we feel connected. If I say to her, "Yeah, it's interesting," I'm not resonating. In fact, I'm starting to shut down the system by the tone of the voice, nonverbal language. Okay, so here's the thing, using my example. Then she leaves, and then I go back, and I groan. I go, ugh. I don't have, just lost all my energy to look at this complex thing that I'm trying to figure out. But here's the paradox. I feel better because she came into the room and said, "Hi, David." And we connected by being present, attuning, and resonating. Welcome to co-regulation. Every psychological problem, every relational conflict, every dysfunction has behind it this attachment, foundational, relational dynamic, lack of co-regulation. Thanks.